Today, we will be discussing the chilling case of Anna Marie Hahn, a woman who went down in history as one of the deadliest American female serial killers. Anna's story is one of greed, deception, and murder that spans over 2 decades and several states. From her humble beginnings as a German immigrant in Cincinnati to her ultimate downfall in the electric chair, this is the story of Anna Hahn, a woman who was driven by her insatiable thirst for money and power. Before we go further, please give the video a like. That really helps with the algorithm. I apologize for putting this in the middle of the video, but the channel has stopped growing recently. In 1937, a mysterious death occurred at Memorial Hospital in Colorado Springs. 67-year-old George Obendorfer had fallen ill just days before and died, leaving doctors puzzled as to what had caused his death. Authorities became intrigued by the circumstances when they learned that Obendorfer had checked into the Park Hotel with 2 unknown companions just 2 days before he fell ill. The hotel owner had also reported $300 worth of stolen diamonds. Further investigation revealed that Obendorfer had registered at the hotel with a woman named Anna Marie Hahn and her young son, Oscar, who had informed the hotel owner that they were on vacation from Cincinnati, Ohio. But the investigation took a turn when a local pawn shop owner reported that a woman matching Hahn's description had tried to pawn similar jewels stolen from the hotel, but he had refused to purchase them. Authorities broadened their search for Hahn and learned that she had tried to withdraw $1,000 from a Denver bank using a bank book in the name of George Obendorfer. Investigators secured an arrest warrant for Hahn on suspicion of grand larceny, and Cincinnati authorities promptly picked her up when she returned home. Hahn denied any involvement in Obendorfer's death, but investigators were able to connect her to Obendorfer as they discovered they had been dating, and the trip was supposed to be to visit her ranch in Colorado Springs. Investigators continued to doubt Hahn's story and decided to look further into her background for answers. Anna was a German immigrant who moved to Cincinnati in 1929 with her husband and son. Her husband died shortly after their arrival, and Anna decided to stay in the country and start over. She met and married Philip Hahn, and the couple eventually opened 2 delicatessens. Anna's marriage to Philip seemed solid, but investigators later learned that the couple had their share of problems revolving around Anna's hunger for money. She was suspected of setting 3 suspicious fires, 2 of which occurred at the Hahn residence, and collected over $2,000 from insurance payouts. Anna was also suspected of attempting to secure a $25,000 life insurance policy on her husband on 2 separate occasions, but each time she met resistance from him. Shortly after the second attempt, Philip became desperately ill and was taken to the hospital by his mother against Anna's wishes. Although Philip survived, the marriage continued to suffer, and the couple eventually separated. After the separation, Anna started working as a visiting nurse for elderly patients. Investigators decided to follow up with several of her previous patients, possibly due to her suspected involvement in her husband's illness. The investigation into Anna's possible involvement in her husband's illness and her suspicious activities continued. The transcripts of her police interviews were obtained by the Cincinnati Post and the Cincinnati Enquirer and were published several times during the investigation. In 1937, Cincinnati investigators discovered a connection between Anna and another mysterious death, that of 78-year-old Jacob Wagner. Although Wagner's cause of death was listed as heart disease, Anna had been caring for him and had been left his entire estate in his will. Suspicions arose when Anna approached Wagner and claimed to be his long-lost niece, and neighbors reported that Anna spent several hours in Wagner's apartment after his death. Investigators also learned that Anna had befriended Olive Luella Kohler, an elderly woman in the same apartment building as Wagner, and had brought her ice cream cones on 2 occasions. After eating the second cone, Kohler became violently ill and was admitted to the hospital. During her hospital stay, someone stole a bag containing an unknown amount of cash and jewelry from her residence. Media reports about Anna poisoning elderly patients for money led to leads, including one from George Heiss, who claimed to have become suspicious of Anna after drinking a beer she poured for him and becoming violently ill. Another investigation was launched after the mysterious death of another patient, George Zellman, who had become ill after his last visit with Anna and died shortly thereafter. An autopsy revealed a metallic poison in Zellman's body that was later found to be croton oil, a general household remedy used during the turn of the century. Investigators obtained a half-ounce bottle of croton oil from Philip Hahn, Anna's estranged husband, who had taken it away from her and hidden it in a locker at work, suspecting that she had used it to poison him. Anna was detained by Cincinnati authorities because of a warrant from Colorado, but Ohio was building its own case against her and did not release her. The evidence against Anna continued to mount, including her purchase of croton oil from a drugstore in North College Hill. The druggist knew Anna personally and said she had told him her husband was a German druggist who used the oil in his practice. Investigators found a promissory note belonging to Anna for $2,000 and discovered that it was borrowed from a man named Albert Palmer, who had died in March 1936 after being cared for by Anna. Relatives informed investigators that at least $4,000 was missing from Palmer's estate. Jacob Wagner, another patient of Anna's, had also died, and an autopsy revealed high levels of arsenic in his system. Anna's son revealed that his mother had served George Obendorfer several drinks on a train journey, and Obendorfer had become ill before their arrival in Colorado. Anna was arrested in August 1937 and charged with the murder of Wagner. The trial began in October 1937, and the prosecution alleged that Anna had killed Wagner out of greed. The prosecution presented evidence from hospital employees, a chemist, a handwriting expert, and George Heiss, a surviving victim of Anna's. The defense rested its case in November 1937, with Anna denying any wrongdoing. However, the defense had little evidence to refute the prosecution's claims. Prosecutor Dudley Outcault delivered a scathing closing argument in which he described Anna as sly, avaricious, cold-blooded, and heartless. He said that the 4 dead men were pointing their bony fingers at Anna and accusing her of poisoning them. Defense attorney Joseph H. Hoodin argued that while Anna was not an angel, she was not guilty of murder. The jury took only 2 hours to return with a guilty verdict, and since there was no recommendation for mercy, Anna would automatically be sentenced to death. This was historic, as Ohio had never executed a woman before. On November 10, 1937, Anna was brought before Judge Bell, and he formally sentenced her to be taken to jail and then to the Ohio Penitentiary to be executed by electrocution on March 10, 1938. Anna maintained her innocence until the end, but the court ordered that justice be done. Despite appeals from her attorneys, Anna's execution was scheduled for December 7, 1938. On the day of her execution, Anna wrote 4 letters before being escorted to the death chamber. She became an emotional wreck and collapsed on her way to the chamber, but was quickly revived and strapped into the electric chair. Anna cried out for someone to help her, but prison officials let the clock tick down. She called for the prison chaplain, and together they began reciting the Lord's Prayer. But just halfway through, Anna was electrocuted and pronounced dead at 8:13 p.m. Anna Marie Hahn was buried in unsanctified ground at the Holy Cross Catholic Cemetery in Columbus, Ohio, on December 8, 1938. After Anna's execution on December 7, 1938, her defense attorney announced that he had sold the letters Anna had given him the night of her execution to the Cincinnati Enquirer, and the money was put into a trust for Anna's son, Oscar. The paper announced that they would be publishing the letters over the following 2 days. In the letters, Anna spoke about her life in Germany and her eventual immigration to the United States. She then recounted the circumstances that led to her life of crime. Anna had signed some notes for her husband, and when they threatened to take her house away, she started gambling and playing the racehorses to make money for her son. During one of her outings to the horse track, Anna met Albert Palmer, from whom she borrowed betting money. When Anna didn't pay the money back fast enough, Albert threatened to take legal action against her. He eventually demanded that she be his girl, and when she refused, Anna slipped rat poison in his oysters. Albert became suddenly ill and died shortly after, and Anna was the only one who knew why. Anna wrote that she couldn't believe she had done the things she did, and that only God knows what came over her. She claimed that she couldn't have been in her right mind when she committed the murders, and that she loved all people so much. In one of the letters, Anna described a struggle within herself over the guilt of her crimes and the problems she had accepting what she had done. She admitted to stealing Jacob Wagner's bank books and poisoning him with a half-teaspoon of poison in his orange juice. She felt that something else guided her hand to commit the act and that she didn't harm him for his money, but only wrote the will after his death. Anna also appeared to take credit for the deaths of George Zellman and George Obendorfer, but didn't describe the circumstances surrounding their deaths. She expressed remorse for the trouble and heartache she had caused and hoped that God would take care of her son, whom she had placed with a foster family in the Midwest. After reading her confession, detectives were elated to have most of the answers they had been seeking. Anna was found guilty and executed by electric chair in 1938. Her son, Oscar Hahn, lived a normal life and fought for the Navy during World War II. The newspaper that had promised to bankroll his education kept his name and whereabouts a secret from the public. Do you think nurses have too much power over their patients? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Till next time. Signing off. This has been Christina.